maybe a little late on this video, but anyways, I think times are coming and they're going to keep going worse as we go forward, talking about chickens and eggs. So what I'm talking is eggs. So what do you got to do? What is the best, or what are we doing? We get chickens, and we've had chickens, I believe it was 2008. We got our first 8 chickens. Since then, basically we have had 60 plus chickens at all times. And that includes chickens that we used to butcher and our laying hens, that kind of stuff, along with the roosters for reproductive and other uses. So what do we get? Well, just to name a few, we get the dual purpose chickens. Mainly dual purpose, I mean they can lay eggs and they can butcher for meat. And some of those are Jersey Giants, McMurray Big Red, Buff Orpingtons, Wyandottes. So that covers your chicken meat and your chicken eggs. And I know you can go a plethora of different chickens for different color eggs, that kind of stuff. But that's mainly what we stick with. Raising them are really easy. If you get them shipped to you. If you want to go on McMurray Hatchery, which is what we use, it's McMurray Hatchery. There are a few other good hatcheries out there. You just have to do, go online, do some research, that kind of stuff. And when we order them, we make sure they're not vaccinated. They're not, stuck with the poison shots, as I call it, that kind of stuff. So that's our chicken meat and our eggs. And we get, so I said we have like anywhere usually from 60 plus at all times. And we usually get anywhere from a dozen to 2 dozen a day for the most part. And it depends on weather. I mean, weather affects how much you're going to get and the amount of how much you can get or how little you're going to get. But it all varies, but on average, it's usually a dozen to 2 dozen. Stay away, I would say, my opinion. We stay away from Cornish cross. They have health issues. They cannot lay eggs. They cannot reproduce themselves. In my opinion, they're anything but natural. They're some sort of Frankenstein concoction that they've made, and that's what you're getting when you go to the store to purchase chicken. That's why the breasts are so big and that kind of stuff. And they grow and they butcher so fast because they're not natural, in my opinion. How much land is needed? Well, that varies. I know people who have had it on a 1/4 acre, and with that they need their chicken coop, and then they need a large run, and they don't let them roam free or free range for the most part. There's also coops you can get that are on wheels, so you can move them around the area to change, what kind of area it is that they are, their feces or you're doing to the ground. So you just move them from time to time. But anyways, how much land is needed? I went over 1/4 acre at least. I've seen people that have it, but it's best to have a few acres. We have a lot of acreage. With that, we can free range, roam free, let them just roam free, go wherever they want, get all the worms they need, all the bugs they need, that kind of stuff. And then when it gets darker, they'll go in the coop by themselves. We just lock them up at night, let them out in the morning, and they do what they're going to do. Same thing, repeat over and over. On top of that, I know there's a case of predators that are around the area if you're letting them free range, roam free. So we have 4 German Shepherds, and they're good with the chickens. They don't bother the chickens for the most part. And they, from my opinion, they've kept the predators away. They've kept the chicken hawks away and any ground predators away, because we have not had issues. And we've been doing this for years, and we know neighbors, I call them neighbors, but people in the area who raise chickens have had issues with chicken hawks and issues with other ground varmints and coyotes, that kind of stuff. We haven't, knock on wood. But I put that on the German Shepherds, I believe, because they're around all the time and outside, and it keeps them away. I mean, because they're around, and I think the scent of them keeps them away also. So we free range, open range, that kind of stuff. If you can't, like I said, a large run is best. So with a large run in coops, I'll go over that. So what kind of coop options are there? Well, there are more than what I'm going to say, but an old shed, you can convert it to a chicken coop. We've done that. An old camper. If you have an old camper that's sitting around, you can convert that to a chicken coop. And then it's already on wheels. So 2 birds, 1 stone. No pun intended with a bird remark. Cattle panel coop. So you just get 2x6s, you build it rectangular, whether it's 10 feet by 5 feet wide, and then you grab these cattle panels and you arch them over, and then you just cover that with chicken wire, because cattle panels have larger holes in them, or larger gaps in the fence or panel itself. That's an option. Real quick, really easy to do. Also, there's you can purchase a ready-built coop or coops you can build. Build your own custom coop. You can go on YouTube or wherever online and find a way or get plans for that. Chicken runs. Chicken runs, large or small, depending on what you need or what you want, we're able to get. A small dog kennel you could use, whether that's maybe it's a 5x10, or a larger dog kennel. Maybe it's a 10x10 or a 20x20 or a 10x30, whatever. You can use that for their run, and then you just cover it on the top and on the sides with chicken wire, again, to make sure the holes are smaller, so your snakes and that kind of stuff, varmints can't get in there, that kind of stuff. And then we usually do the ground too before we put the run on there, chicken fencing on the ground, so that prevents anything, whether it could be varmints coming up from the ground. So there's that. And where to purchase, I said McMurray's is what we purchase. There's a few others I purchased from the past, but McMurray's hatchery is mainly what we get nowadays. We've had the best luck of them. And if you want to look and spend some time, I'm sure there are other great hatcheries out there. We've used a few before in the past. I haven't used them lately, so I don't know if things have changed. But as always, there's local people around. You can reach out to local people that are raising chickens. Ask, and see what you can do there. Maybe you can work out a deal, that kind of stuff. But anyways, I'm just saying, putting this out there, I think it's great. We have not bought purchased eggs, since 2028, and it's been great. And with the extra eggs we get, we have a sign out there, and people come by every week, if not multiple times a week, to purchase from us the extra eggs that we can't use or we won't use. And we get one gentleman comes once a week. He usually purchases 2 dozen or 3 dozen if we have it available. And then we have other regulars too that are purchasing a dozen here and there and 2 dozen, that kind of stuff. And it's great. I mean, it's healthy, it's better, it's easy, and I would say it's something that I would not, shy away from. I would just go forward and try it. But anyways, I want to thank you for watching. Thank you for your time. And as always, if you like this, like, share, subscribe, all that kind of stuff. And stay vigilant, protect yourself, the family, your health, and protect your wealth.